In this video, we are going to look at how to calculate square roots, cube roots, and other nth roots on the TI-30. The particular model of calculator that we will be using is called the TI-30X IIS. And it looks like this. Some of them are green, some are blue, some are pink, but all the buttons are the same. Okay, so first let's look at how to calculate the square root of 144. So the first thing we want to find is the square root symbol. So if we see our square root symbol, you'll notice it's written on the calculator itself. It's not an actual button. That means it's a second function. So anything that's written on the calculator above a button, you need the second first before you can use that function. So if I want square root, the first button I press is second, then I'm going to press this x squared button, which is going to give me the second function, square root. So again, first press the second button, then press this x squared button, and on your calculator screen you'll see the radical symbol and it'll open up a parenthesis. And then you just type in 144 and use this to close the parenthesis and press enter right here, and you should get the answer of 12. So the principal square root is 12. All right, let's look at the next one, square root 67. Let's approximate this before we actually find its value. 67 is between 64 and 81. 64 is 8 squared, 81 is 9 squared. 67 is closer to 64 than it is to 81. It's really close to 64. So I'm going to approximate that this is about 8.1. All right, now let's do it on the calculator. Second, and then that x squared button, so that's going to bring up the square root sign, and then I'm going to type 67 and then close the parenthesis, and when I press enter, in this case I get 8.185, so we were a little bit low. It's actually about 8.2. All right, for the next one we are going to do cubed root. Okay, for the cubed root, since the index is no longer a 2, since it's no longer a square root, there's another button that we use that covers all the other roots besides square root. So square root has its own button, but for cubed root, we use a generic button that works for all other roots. So for this, the first thing you have to type is the number 3 for the index or the root. So since my index is 3, I need to start by typing the number 3. So I'm going to type the number 3 on my calculator. Then I'm going to type this second button, but now I want this button right here. This is called the caret button. That's the button you use to raise something to a power, but now I want to do the opposite. I want to find the root. So if you'll notice right here, it looks like a square root button, but there's a little, it looks like the square root sign, but there's a little X in the spot of the index. So when you press that, this is what your calculator will show you. Now that X there means it can be any root. And by us typing in the 3 first, we're designating that x as cubed root. So this 3 is the index. So anytime you're doing anything besides a square root, you're going to use this second function and you're going to type the index first. Okay, now I want negative 216. So I have to type in the negative number, or the negative sign first, and then 216. And there's no parenthesis here, so I can just press enter when I'm done. And I should get negative 6. And that's right, because negative 6 times negative 6 times another negative 6 would give us negative 216. All right, let's try the next one, fourth root. So again, since this is something other than a square root, we type the number 4 for the index first. Then I'm going to type second. Then I'm going to use this function right here where it's the xth root. So when I type that on my calculator, I will see this. And then I just type in 16, press enter, and I should get 2. And finally, let's look at the last one. We have the fourth root of negative 16. Now, when you're looking at this, hopefully something's clicking in your brain that's saying, wait a minute, I can't take an even root of a negative number. because there is no number that I could raise to the fourth power that would give me a negative 16, because no matter what number I raise to the fourth power, I'm always going to wind up with a positive answer. So that being said, let's go through the motions here. 4 is my index. So then I want to press second and then this symbol right here. So on my calculator I will see the xth root, negative sign, and then type in 16. And then when I press enter, I'm not going to get an answer. It's going to say domain error. What that means is that there is no real number that is the fourth root of negative 16. So if your answer is not a real number, this is the message that you will get. Because it can't be negative 2, because think about it, if we did negative 2 to the fourth power, that would be a positive 4 times a positive 4, that would be a positive 16. So there's no way to get negative 16 by raising something to the fourth power. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Little review on how to calculate roots.